Hi. Hi. I'm just like so tired. It's unbelievable, but I haven't finished the slides yet, but that's okay. If you guys are using the deck later on, I will just like edit that and send it over after the call. Yeah, because I completely changed the slides. Yes, give me 1 second. Let me see. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. So should we just like start, or we should wait, or hold on, let me switch off this Telegram. It's crazy. Do you want to start? Okay, guys. So it's a pleasure to do this class for you. My name is Irina. We'll talk about marketing a little bit today, because I don't think that 2 hours is enough to get actually everything that marketing is has in general. So it's just like a little bit background about me. I work at the Metis Foundation, doing marketing for the foundation and events. Mainly my role is more events because that's just like this is what I like. However, it wants a lot of marketing. So yeah, I've been with Metis since 2021, since it was like a startup and until now, and I absolutely love it. However, today is about the marketing. Today we talk about the agenda. No, it's agenda, sorry. It's 7 a.m. my time. So we do the intro, marketing, how to write the marketing plan, what is the most important things, key metrics, introducing the web marketing funnel, and then we discuss. So I'm not sure if kindly did you share the slides before or not? Okay. So marketing strategy is basically like this is the tactical plan, promotional plan, basically like your almost like sales plan for your product. Not like directly sales, but this is what you are marketing in order to sell, whether it's product or it's the actual business model, whichever that has in your business strategy. It definitely is changing every time. Your marketing plan does not stay the same. Every time, especially during the marketing campaigns where you need to assess and change some things before, if it's not working, because sometimes we have things not working. How to write the marketing plan. Basically, you cannot do the marketing plan without knowing your audience. So in the beginning, you basically need to understand who your target audience is, what kind of messaging what they do, what they like. It's to create your marketing persona. Um, that will give you a deeper understanding of things that you need to include in your marketing. Because the last thing that you want to do is to deliver the message, a wrong message. Basically, you need to speak the language of your target audience, know their problems. You need basically your product needs to solve someone's problem. That will be your basically a key point in here. What are the problems that this persona has that your product is solving? Then it will give you a more understanding on how to position, on how to create your brand identity. Target audience basically is the key in here. So if you need any personas descriptions, if you learned Web2 marketing, it's basically the same thing. It's just Web3 different behavior of your persona. Then we go to the know your product. Basically, what type of the project it is. Like it's infrastructure, DeFi, NFT, DAO, whatever. Like that's what you need to basically like no, that's not. This is very basic, right? But this is very important. Then what is the core proposition to the users? How does this technology architecture support the value proposition? All these questions needed to be answered before we move on to the writing an actual big giant marketing plan. Then exactly, this is something that I already mentioned. What are the customers' problems your product is solving? How does this technology compare to the competitors solving the same problems? Because you need to know not even your product, you need to know, of course, your competitors. And you need to then create the competitive analysis, absolutely, and know your point of differentiation. How are you different from your competitors? And if you're not, then what would be the value proposition? Why is this that you're doing this product? Because even though you have similar competitors, your marketing can outcome your competitors if you do it right. Then what is the unique selling point? This is what we talked about. If you have any, if you don't, you need to think and brainstorm with the team what that would be. What rewards, if you have that into the technology, what blockchain it is built on? Is there any layer to scalability solution? How does this address this decentralization? Because this Web3 is all about the decentralization. That's also a very powerful message to deliver and include in your brand identity. How does this address scalability? What does it address security? All these questions are very extremely important before we move on to the next stages of the marketing plan. Well, as marketing need to understand everything about the product, we have basically like 3 channels. It's B2D because developers, we are in the builder space, right? So in builder space, if you're targeting developers, this is your target audience, then they need to understand how this product works, what it does. it's through the tutorials, education, white papers, any papers, and other things that developers are using through their basically channels where they look for the information, right? It could be GitHub or anything else. For B2B and B2C, basically business to business, business to customer, they don't really need to understand how it works. They need to understand what it does, and how they can use it for their purposes. They don't really care about the actual building things, and how it to utilize, but they need to know what it does so that they can utilize in their life, etc., in their business. Then important part is I'm skipping a lot of things today just because some things that need to be like a full actual class, different, like additional to this. So we always speak about the SMART goals in marketing. Everything needs to be specific, measurable, ambitious, realistic, and time bound. You need to set those goals. If you don't, then you don't have anything to be based on, like we call it sometimes KPIs, right? You don't have anything to make an assessment of your marketing campaign. And therefore you cannot really see if your marketing campaign is working or not. So the key metrics are very crucial to this. And there is an example, so specific. They need to be very detailed, measurable. You need to measure that, basically place a very detailed or KPIs for this, like goals, right? Ambitious. Something that you really want to achieve, not like you just launched the product and in 2 months you want 1 million users. This is ambitious, but that be realistic. And time bound, that needs to be time frame, like we want to achieve this by this time. Like here's another example. Basically the key results, they're marked as OKR framework to articulate all those goals and measure the outcome. And objectives is like for instance, make your DeFi protocol the industry leader by the end of the Q4. You're launching it on the Q1, then Q4, it's the whole year, right? Then you say achieve the higher TVL than the competitor XYZ, your competitors. Then achieve a higher total number of transactions than competitors. Grow the Twitter following by 100% while maintaining current rate of engagement if you have it. If you don't, add that rate of engagement into your key results. Grow the Discord community if you're the devs focused project to whatever number of members. Then with the quality, define community, etc. Sometimes in Web3 marketing, projects tend to use, call it marketing campaigns, where you basically pay for your users to provide engagement or sign up or anything like that. You can achieve, if you use those marketing tools, it's like Zilli or Talentum. Talentum is a little bit different. I will get into there a little bit later. So basically you create the campaign, like here's the tweet, support, share, comment, do the engagement, right? Then you use that platform to basically pay for this. Like it could be $100 to $1,000. It depends on your budget. Then what they do is that random people from all over the world are getting paid to create that content for you. However, they're maybe not very interested in your actual program or product, and that content is going to go anywhere. So basically what you see is that a lot of people signing up, commenting, etc. Engagement is good. However, nobody knows about your product. So here you really need to be extremely like aware about that these tactics, they work and they don't. To use this marketing campaign strategy within to boost the engagement. If you already have your set audience and people know, it's always better to do organic outreach and organic boost of your community, build the community, get the numbers up, engage. There's so many different ways how to do that, but in order for you to like boost that, you need to have this is the already KOL marketing. So but first establish the smart goals, and then it should be very specifically detailed written objectives with the key results, 1 2 3 4 5, whichever, how many you want. It depends. It could be 1, it could be 10. Here, this is something which is very important and I didn't finish, but I promise I will do that a little bit later. So when we come to the marketing, you need to understand, I like to call it like a customer, like basically like journey, right? However, book says that this is a funnel. Funnel it is. So it has literally 4 stages, which is discovery. This is where you are introducing your product. This is the first stage. They don't know about you. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what you provide. They never downloaded any app or played with your DAX or whatever you're building. And those here will be basically main channel is through the referral, through the word of mouth, social media research, events, blog, online events, Twitter Spaces, etc. Then you go to the second stage, which is engagement. Because once they know you, then you need to engage this audience that is interested in your product, right? So, and it's basically like you need to convince them to stay with you, like to sign up for your email marketing. Then different, especially like events, they're always here. Like we in Web3, we do like to go to events. So, but that's not only that. Basically, here's the solid website. There is a specific recommendations on how to do a very clean, good website. Also, I can just like send over those materials if you really want. A good social media calendar, a good social media plan. You need to establish your brand identity, brand voice. But let me finish with this one. Then basically, the call to action on the engagement stage would be sign up, register, join, follow, comment, engage, etc. Then the third stage is this is where they are using your product, and that will be in-app campaigns, community basically like engagements, etc. Then also emails, newsletters, sign-ups, marketing, social media marketing, and then we go to retention. This is where, so basically when we have this usage and engagement, people tend to use your product because it's new, let's say, right? Because we're speaking about the startups. And then what they do is that they lose interest. So this is where the retention is basically like a very important point, because so you need to retain your current clients, customers, communities, etc. However, you also need to focus on building and engaging and growing more. So the call to action will be always the same, but the difference is where you need to create different tactics and different engaging content or anything like that. So basically, because Web3 marketing is a little bit different from the Web2. We don't really use anything like a Google Ads, or we don't do A/B tests or anything like that. It's literally community built in. In the slides we had here something like airdrops. I mean, projects do use those airdrops. However, in my honest opinion, it works only to a certain number of community. Because do you want to really have people just like chasing free money, or you want to have a product that people are genuinely interested in using, that the product that is helping somebody to solve whatever problems they may have, I'm not saying like big problems, but every customer has some problems, in terms of like daily interactions and etc. So let's say, so this is very important when it comes to the airdrops, to think exactly whether you do really need that or you don't, unless you want to create a big splash and giant entrance to market. Then people like those airdrops, but is it a long term, or is it a very short term? Also, you can do the airdrops, but think how to do it through the decentralization, not just like sending over basically like free money, right? And then important part in building the marketing strategy is to create your voice, and which is called brand identity. It has to be, of course, the same through all channels. You need to understand what channels you want to use, and also each country has different, I would say, choices in the marketing channels. Usually, Twitter is the main one, right? But then we go to whatever your target audience is. Then SWOT analysis is extremely important. Then you go to the SWOT analysis, understanding this is a very good assessment for your market and your project, to understand what is the room for improvement, what is the room where you want to, what are the opportunities. Like, you need to understand what are your like 4 points. Oh my gosh, I'm so sleepy. Basically, advantages, disadvantages, threats. Threats are something that you don't have control of, like market crashes. You can't really change anything, or a lot of projects died because of a lot of scam, etc. Things happen. Those would be your threats. So you need to aware what that would be in order not to really crush your product. And basically, weaknesses come through, and opportunities. Your weaknesses come through the opportunities come through weaknesses. So you understand what is this that you're lacking. This is something, the room for your improvement. Once you have that clear information about what your SWOT analysis is, then you can build everything else on top of that. Behavior of your target audience is crucial. And then you go to okay, if I move in another tab, I have my notes in another tab. Do you see any other tab?
No, I don't see.
You don't see the other tab, no?
Yeah.
All right now, no? You see the slides?
Yeah, I see a slide, but it not only show engagement or and discover.
Say it again.
I Just say a marketing function has 4 stage. Just this line.
Yes, yes. Because I said, I'm sorry, guys. It's just been a very extremely difficult time 2 months for me. I will finish the deck and I will send it over so for you to use. But I want to go through. I want to go through the steps of the marketing plan if you don't mind. But I will include that into the slides and send it over to you right after our call, if that's okay.
Okay.
So basically, once you those what I talked before were extremely important parts when it comes to the Web3 marketing, because we don't really have any education in Web3 marketing. Nobody is telling us what exactly and how it works. Web2 does, because it's older industry, right? However, those were just like differentiation points that we do not like do things that we do in the Web2 marketing. We don't do necessarily those here. They just don't work. So we start the marketing plan outline with the basically executive summary, which will be your introduction, your purpose, your goals, and what exactly that in briefly your product is. Then you really need to write the marketing analysis, do the market research, understand what's going on in different countries in this industry, because you want to go global, right? You don't want to focus on your country, although this is the beginning, right? Because you're local there, etc. But maybe your target audience is not located in there, so um so that you need to understand overall. We already went through the target audience, but I will just like highlight again. It's crucial to know who your target audience is and write the brand persona. Is brand persona gives you much more. Who knows who did Web2 marketing? You know what it is, but I will just repeat. Then you need to know behavior. You need to know the country of residence. You need to know everything. Because sometimes when you have an idea of the product, but let's say you're located in the UK, UK could not have the same issues as like Latin countries or some of the Asian countries or African countries, but you can expand and build your product in those countries than to grow it, because you're solving problems of somebody who is living in a different country economic wise and political wise. So that's why its behavior and geographical things are very extremely important in the target audience. Competitive analysis. Know your competitors. You do need to know them. You need to understand what they do, and if it's proven to work, then you need to create something different and create not completely different, but you need to have your point of differentiation. Absolutely. What are their strategies, what they do, where they go, what conferences they're using? Do you really need those events in your marketing? Because we'll get to the events a little bit later. Then place the goals and objectives, as we always, as I already mentioned, using those SMART goals. Awareness, engagement, attendance, partnerships, those could be your also goals. Then brand positioning. What is your unique selling point? What is your voice, brand voice? What is all marketing channels need to basically communicate exactly the same image. You cannot have different messaging across your social media channels. That needs to be extremely easy to understand. People don't really need to question what is it, you know? you need to understand what you're trying, your slogan or your brand messaging. That needs to be extremely easy and attractive and interesting. Curiosity is the key here sometimes. That it needs to resonate with your audience. We have at Metis as an example. We changed a few things because people were like, what does it mean? They don't understand. So you need to know, like, if you ask basically somebody who is, let's say, in crypto, but it isn't, but that person isn't, if you understand that message, if they say like, I'm not really getting that, you 100% need to change that, because but that will be easy if you know and did a very good research before, what's going on, and it's very like clear to understand. Then you brainstorm your message that will be everywhere and across your social media and marketing in general when it comes to the experiential marketing. Then you do the marketing. What could be your marketing strategies? Content marketing, social media, emails, influencer marketing, public relations, event sponsorships. When it comes to the content marketing, we use blog posts. We do have video teasers, tutorials, behind the scenes footage if you go elsewhere, infographics, visual content is split in the complex of like blockchain concepts, etc. Then social media platform, social media marketing, it's like platforms on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, depends on exactly your target audience and what your product is. YouTube, campaigns could be any like hashtag campaigns, live tweeting during events, influencer marketing partnerships, different games, engagement, anything that is attractive engagement and is interesting. You need to incentivize people. Like for instance, we do a lot of, this is a very extremely interesting tactic. I learned it from Latam. You see, every region does it differently. They love to collect like POAPs, different, like POAP is a brand, but it's like proof of attendance or whatever that means, right? They do even like to have that badges for Twitter Spaces. They just like collect these things, and we tried it with our community. It does work, like host Twitter Spaces, say, hey, like if you want to get a badge or to add to your collection, you need to know, like, choose the best one, whatever. Honestly, they use POAP for some reason. It's so easy. Then you create that badge and you deliver it and you send them they send you a screenshot if this is a Twitter Spaces, if this is an online event, and then basically they send you a screenshot to the Twitter, and then you send them the QR code or a link how to collect that. As an example, we did last year an online event. That event was, I feel like it was 4 hours or something, and it was our Metis Foundation portfolio companies intros and workshops. So basically, each speaker had a QR code in the end of their session, and before we announced, if you get all like 9 or whatever number we had, I don't remember, of badges, then we will ship you the VIP swag or something that would be delivered to your home. And this way, you ask people to stay through entire whole event. There's no dedicated like time frame for each speaker to show the QR code. So you
Am I the only one? Is it stopped?
Yeah, it's the same.
Same for me.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one who got disconnected.
No, I think only the speaker.
Okay.
Hey, sorry guys. Could you please tell me what part I dropped? Because I moved into a new place and I don't have Wi-Fi, so I'm using my mobile data to do this workshop. Can somebody please tell me where I dropped? Mm-hmm. So did you hear what I was saying about the marketing strategies, like content marketing, social media, etc.?
Yeah, I hear about that. And you say about our workshop. Yeah.
Oh, about the workshop. Okay.
Yeah.
So the workshops, I guess it was as an example what we did at one of the events. That was online event with I think 9 speakers, and everybody had a QR code for people to claim POAP, a proof of attendance, basically, to add to their collection. If you like, we did this part, and each speaker had their POAP QR code to claim that in their somewhere in their talk. So basically, you need to really stay focused in the meeting throughout the whole time in order to claim those badges. And if you claim those badges, you receive like a big prize, not big prize, like, I mean, nobody's going to send a lot of things, but something that is interesting and meaningful to them. So we did like an VIP swag, because our Meta swag you can add, you can get only if you attend the conference. There's no store, there's nothing official. So and people indeed stayed the whole time, and they started claiming badges, and a few of them received, because there you can like have three winners or something. That's how we did. In order to claim, basically, we picked three people, the first 3 that sent us nine whole 9 pages. But honestly speaking, I probably sent more because it's like they really tried, and it was very, like, for a few of them it was so meaningful. Like, I really want that. It's I cannot get that swag anywhere, but yeah, we sent them and they were extremely happy about that. So this is important for a marketing team to understand that marketing should be cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive. If you basically like spend a lot of money, then there's literally like something is wrong. You don't need to spend big chunk of money for marketing. You do not, unless you are Web2 company and you need big billboards, etc. I can tell you a lot of examples on how Web2 people did, and sometimes, and I hope that eventually Web3 would grow to the level of acceptance in the world so that we can go more creative. But for now, it is what it is. Then social media marketing, we talked about that. Email marketing. Grow your mailing list. If you have that mailing list, it's good, but make sure that if you have it, then you keep it constant. Like consistency is the key. You need to keep consistent. Twitter, LinkedIn, all your social media platforms. Each platform has absolutely different algorithm. In Twitter, you can tweet X number of tweets. If you drop the number of tweets next day, it doesn't drop your, I would say, not engagement or your visibility, right? Compared to Instagram. Instagram does it. So if you have, for instance, if you start with having 4 posts in a week and then you drop to 2, your account drops down significantly. YouTube, pretty much the same thing. I would say keep it consistent. If you don't have a lot of content at this moment, better like to schedule that in the way that you have a room for growth. You can add things. The product develops, the community is growing, then you add things, to keep the engagement. This is why we talked about the funnel before. Different stages need different tactics, different growth things, then then you have influencer marketing, KOLs. This is where it costs money, but you need to know what those KOLs are. It from my point of view, it's a good tactic when you want to boost your product. However, usually you basically like pay KOLs to do a job for you, right? But what comes after? Every time when you do something, ask for what comes after, your retention plan. So if you boosted your product with the KOLs, then you need to keep the engagement of your new clients, new audience. If you don't have that good, solid retention plan after the KOL campaign, your money would be basically lost. You'll get that engagement and you cannot sustain it, then it's down, Then a lot of one of the good tactic, I would say, marketing tool is in real life events. That is a big part of the Web3 in general. Some people underestimate the power of events. However, this is where the money is being spent because experiential marketing is expensive and it requires some budgeting. Not that marketing doesn't, it does. But that is a separate budget because it tends to you need to pay for logistics, which is like travel, hotels or Airbnbs or etc. Things like that, sponsorships, and things like that. When you are a brand new startup and you don't have a lot of budget, try to see what events have startup pitches and go there to raise the awareness about your product Also depends who your team is. If you have speakers that on your team that are known in the community, then you can utilize a speaking part into the event. So this is where you don't really need to spend a lot of money for sponsorships, but you can put your brand name up on the map using those tools. So do the research, check, like for instance, as an example, the event ETHCC, which is one of, I would say, the most anticipated events in the industry. It's one of my favorite, to be honest. But now they moved to Brussels, so we'll see how that goes. So they have a main conference which where lots of sponsors wanted to sponsor a few years ago. That was literally closed event for sponsorships. They did only for the projects they used to work before. Now they literally like open up to the world. However, we were in a very like in a beer market last year, so that was a little bit interesting how they did. But that event was still sold out in sponsorships, and so I'm just like referring to that. It's very well anticipated. It's a very anticipated event to be at. However, this year more that they're sold out on sponsorships in probably the first month of their announcement, but they have 400 side events. So if you do not have a lot of money to sponsor a main event, check what you can have using the side events. Because basically the behavior of people is that they do go to the main conference, but everybody loves to go to the side events. However, we're talking about European and North American behavior, in, let's say, I was in LATAM a lot, so I will speak about that. So in LATAM, people do like to go to the main event because they want to learn, they want to listen, they want to talk to the speakers that are not located in LATAM, So it depends on the event. My team was in Vietnam earlier this month. They were impressed so much. And if Eric is here, then a huge thank you, because that country is amazing for adoption. There's so much opportunity to grow and educate, and basically like explain what that Web3 is and build the community, because the engagement is extremely interesting and important. They want to know what it is, they want to use it. So in North America, in Europe, people are more, how do I say that? They know the Web3 and they tend to go more to the side events. So it depends where you go, right? But if you do have the budget, and if you approach events through the sponsorship, right? And don't go for a bigger sponsorships. Try to negotiate a good deal with them. Try to know. That's exactly why we talked about the key metrics in the beginning, because this is where the events can boost your some of your key metrics very big. You just need to know exactly what they are. And if you have them, for instance, you want to grow your social media, your signups, right? You have booth. You need to create a marketing campaign in real life. There's so many good tactics you can do. Any not siloed option. Siloed option can be done with the events. You can do any content, a quest, collaborate with other startups, collaborate with your friends. Do like a scavenger hunt at the venue. Let them look for QR codes and do like do some tasks, something engaging, interesting that would, of course, not cost you a lot of money, because you're bringing these swag items anyways to your conference. So make sure that you have separate things for those winners, something unique that you have a very limited number. Try to ask them to follow you if they want like a t-shirt or anything like that, or sign up or download an app, or if you are building, I know GM2 is here, if you're building your app on Metis, right, then engage with us so that we can help you. Maybe we can, if you have a number of signups, maybe we can airdrop something or any incentive that would get your new users on your product during the events. When it comes to the experiential marketing, everything that you do, you need to communicate in the social media channels, because if you, let's say, have 30,000 like signups of followers, right? Sorry about that. And you raised some money, everybody's watching what you're doing. And if it's not a Twitter, it didn't happen. This is what we say sometimes, when in Web3. So anything, everything that you do during the events, make the tweets, do the engagement, create its dedicated content and marketing campaign around that experiential marketing, do the call to action. There's so much room to create a very interesting engagement in your in the conference that you're going to. So that's why it's creative. It's so creative. It doesn't repeat. That's the reason why I like it so much. The events. This is then you're creating experience for your audience in real life. Engagement is crucial. It's another thing how to make an assessment of the event. You need to know there are so many events that would say, or we are the best. We are the best in APAC, or we are. I remember we had in Canada. I was approached by one company, like one event, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just like the biggest event in Canada," and I've never heard of them. And I live in Canada, so that was another point. And I was like, you are like, in my mind, I'm already assessing that they're trying to sell something that is not authentic. Like, they were not the biggest. They were biggest in their province. And you cannot be the biggest if you are hosted for the first time. So when you talk to, and when you see the deck, the sponsorship deck, any other proposal, then do the assessment of this. See what other projects are sponsoring. Is there any competitor that you have? If it is, then most likely, and how long that event lasted for. Always prepare for things go unplanned. It doesn't matter how good your plan is, they can just go off-road. In events, it's always like that. So make sure that you have the crisis management plan in order. Then you need to know how to overcome things that didn't happen. Let's say you ordered swag, it didn't arrive. What you do, how you still do your key metrics goals if your swag wasn't delivered, but that is the main point, how people would sign up for things, So here you just like need to change your approach, or if you can't, then try to at least do something that to at least get to your goal. And always try to set realistic goals. If you have 10,000 people attendees, you're not going to get 10,000. Go for 50, target 50%, and then drop it down to another 50. That would be your most likely realistic goal. If you go over, then it's very good. But if you go down, then you're like, okay, why? And this why could be because of unrealistic goal that you place for yourself. The also in the marketing, it's important, in the events, it's important to get the right people in, because events is not only the marketing, it's BD, it's PR, everything, so the right team is crucial for this. And of course, it's like budget allocation for everything. Everywhere that you go, you need a very specific budget, and always have a percentage of extra unexpected costs. Then I can give you an example. One of the biggest events in the industry, which is ETH Denver, we created very solid booth marketing plan campaign. We had lots of engagements created by the marketing team, a lot of announcements coming up. They ordered a spin wheel to just kind of like do some engagement on site. We created the interview session, and it was extreme. We had POAP Quest, and we had our own POAP too. So we had a lot of things prepared, okay? And and what happened is that our booth didn't arrive. So, and if we didn't have that extra cost set up in the budget, then in what part you're gonna get that budget from? That could be other marketing campaign, or it could be another event that you plan that it was in your roadmap, and you're taking some money out of it because the budgeting wasn't done properly. So it's very crucial. Like usually add 10%, 15% on overall cost for your whole campaign. To, if you don't use it as perfect, then in the end of the year, you have a good budget. That's what you want. You don't really, if you have a budget, you don't really need to spend it all. The goal is always to do the good marketing strategy, good marketing campaign, or whether that's an event, and spend less that you're budgeted. If you do that, that's the key. That's good. Especially if you get your goals and you spend less money, then it's just perfect. Then this is something that you're doing very good. However, things can go like off the road, right? What happened at the event where we had to redo our whole booth. We ordered fast shipping of and production of some banners that we usually do within the design that we had for the booth. We had to order different furniture, went to the store, or like purchased like everything else that we needed to make it pretty. And in the end of the day, it made it on time, but it was honestly a miracle. Honestly, it was a miracle. So this is where your budget, experiential marketing, is a big chunk of money. And the tactics of using this marketing tool could be different through your stages of your product development. So if you are in the beginning, see how you can get on potentially panels with the prominent speakers, or you have an event where they have startup pitches. So this is where you are getting in front of the venture capitals or individual investors. Sometimes I hope that there is one event like that you can create. You can be a sponsor, but those expenses for the sponsorship package come from the actual VC. So basically they're sponsoring a startup to be a sponsor. So I do believe there's something like that, which could be a very good opportunity for you. So it's just like, see how you can get on stage on different events within your small budget if you don't have that just yet. Yeah, basically for the events, it's, I would say, try to plan that, since it's a big chunk of money, try to plan that as early as possible. Like if you know where what your roadmap is, include that into your marketing plan so that you can create marketing calendar, you can have a call to action where to find us. It's always nice to meet people in real life. Like excuse me, like digital is good, engagement online is good, but when you meet in real life, it's absolutely different things. And I know some of you were like in GM Vietnam, and it's absolutely different when you engage with people in real life. This is where you build the connections. This is where you build relationships, and all your community is the relationship builder thing, you know. So plan in advance, see what these side events are, try to apply to as many speaking opportunities as you can. If you're hosting your own event, that is a different thing. Then marketing for that is different than you basically have for just like sponsorship event. What else in the events? I'm putting a lot of content for the events right now because it's a marketing tool that requires a lot of budget. So if you're doing the good strategy, good approach towards this, then you can really like shine in that part. Then we talked about the measurement and analytics already, place the KPIs, but that we go to the marketing plan. And yeah, and basically the media coverage, it's nice to have the PR. However, that's an interesting part where you really need to have a very good PR firm. And Web3 is difficult to find good PR company that gives you very good results. We found one. We are extremely happy. That's why I'm saying that it's extremely like crucial to find a good support if you're in need for that. Then when it comes to the PR, which is also part of the marketing, it's a different approach and a different things that you need to understand and know before you start doing that, how the PR works, how pitching works, because you don't want to pay for paid PR press releases to be published, because it's not basically it won't give you the same. It will say that it's sponsored, it's paid article. You want to do it for free, and you want to do it so basically what it is for free is that your PR firm or your PR manager who knows journalists from different media outlets, they pitch your press release to them. The most important part is that this should be news. If this is something that you already mentioned somewhere in a tweet or in a blog post or online or anywhere that people can Google, then there's no way that they would consider this part as news. If news, it was never mentioned, it's launch or it's big news that fundraise, etc. Those type of things that you do not talk before, but if you want to utilize the PR, and PR is actually, it does work. Make sure that it has connection to the website, then you can track your performance of this article and that media outlet in this connection and key metrics funnel. Has to everything be connected. So PR is good part. Then why would you use PR during in real life events? We always have media coverage. If you are launching something interesting, press release, then you can utilize that opportunity, the events, for interviews, to talk to the reporters on site, etc. They do have a lot of like very big events. They do have a lot of media coverage. So that will be a very good part to include into your marketing strat campaign for in real life events. When it comes to the events online, if you want to have an engagement, then you can create different events as of online live stream. Then Twitter, when it comes to the Twitter Spaces, I don't know how you approach that, but if you come from the point of view that you want to build the community, but Web3 doesn't like shilling, right? So you need to invite your key players in the world, in the industry, like try to get to that point, but create different topics of discussions, invite interesting people that you want to your product to be associated with, do that engagement through utilize their community to talk about you, but in the way that you won't shell. So create that engagement through the online events without basically selling your product. You can be on a panel with XYZ speaking about, let's say, blockchain adoption in Vietnam, and you will talk about this with the people that are known in the industry, but they're not like in Vietnam. And you can talk about this topic if this is in the knowledge of your like group, right? With these people you can discuss, and always like think of the topic from the perspective of how you can add value to this topic of discussion through your product. So you can like, yeah, we are XYZ and we are actually like solving this issue through this and this and this, but you don't really go into the more shelling, you just carry on with the topic of discussion. So if you utilize this tool as of Spaces, but without the shell in your product, then you engage the community and you educate them and you talk to them. Always ask them to ask questions, of course. It's proven to work because you do want people talking about your product, and you of course want to talk about your product, but you need to understand why would they want to listen. You need to ask your question, why would this person would want to listen to me talking about my product? If you find that why, and then your communication will build on that why. So, and that comes to the things that we talked in the beginning, the problems that you want to solve. This will be your basically target audience. If you just want to have a splash awareness, then you use different things. You do exactly what I just said, that engagement through the different topics of discussions, then interesting is that then engagement on Twitter is crucial when it comes to the to you. Yes, you're doing the tweets, you're publishing things, you're doing 1 to 3, but do you speak with your audience? Do you engage with them? Do you go to all the channels and talk on interesting topics, but commenting posts, engaging with your projects, with the different projects, with their audience. So don't just focus on your Twitter. It's the main focus, of course. But however, try to engage in different, I would say, different projects, or if you have a set of if you're, for instance, your product is focused on B2D, which is business to developer, right? Have a list of the famous developers in the industry because they achieved 1 to 3, and then follow them and engage with their tweets. Be active. This way you attract attention to your product, to your Twitter channel by multiple people, because if you engage with the conversation, and if, for instance, if there is a topic of discussion, don't just say oh, agreed, nice tweet, or something like that, try to get them more information about that topic. Get your opinion out, and be very mindful with the opinions these days, So knowledgeable opinion, what to add. Go to Vitalik Buterin's Twitter. That's the first one, engage with that, or retweet or repost, or etc. But don't go really extreme on that, because balance is the key also. You don't want to overwhelm your team, and you want to create a very good engagement throughout the tweets and presence. So I would say the start small and go bigger is always a good thing. Live streams are good with something interesting, not about just your product, as I mentioned. Try to come with the point of thinking, what can I contribute to my community? What is the key message that I can help them? What is that we can help, because, and this why, if anybody has issues with building the community, etc., potentially think of things that what would be the problems that I want to solve for them, and build your brand identity on top of this. So here you go, and then you know what your communities are, you know what your target is, and then you can go and engage and create basically content and campaigns around that. So I would say this is an extremely brief explanation of overall what could be done. Ambassador program. Do you want to have ambassadors? What would they do? Maybe that could be on your roadmap, on the business development plan and marketing plan. Then, okay, in the Q4, we would be ready for ambassadors program. What is that? What they do? What you want them to do? Lots of different tools, but the key part is that know your product, know your audience, get the realistic goals, get the right message out, create a good, clean, easy website to know. Usually people have, I would say, 3 seconds for the first impression of your website. If it's not clean, if they don't understand what it is, then they will not really explore further. I've seen a lot of websites that look nice, but I was like, what is that? Like, what is this? Where are the social media? Place them on top, don't place them in the bottom. Don't do a lot of what's that, the screens where like do the only header banner, not pop, whatever things, just make it easy flow. Also, another thing to think about is storytelling. If you do the marketing messaging through the storytelling tool, you basically can win in a lot of ways. Because right now, what I see is that everybody is trying the same tactics. Everybody do podcasts, Twitter spaces, they do tutorials, they write blog posts and newsletters, etc. But excuse me. But if you approach that with the storytelling, engage them into your story of the product. Think of how to go creative when it comes to your brand. The story, I have not honestly seen any project that has that storytelling thing. I would say a very good marketing was done by Aave. There, you see, they have very clean understanding of what problems they're solving. They came up with an amazing brand. They came up with amazing, well, not really like a story, but they have this ghost, which is like people do know about them, right? But let me tell you something, they didn't come up that within the first time. So if you try things and they don't work, don't get frustrated, because mistakes can happen. And if you don't, you see, if you don't do the mistake, you don't try, really, so they went through their branding. A lot of projects that started not the way that they are now. They changed things, and this is normal. It is normal because the industry is new, and you will have your own like niche. You just need to see and think about things that I said in order to create a marketing plan for you. And please remember that usually marketing should be cheap. That's, I always say that it should be cheap. There's so many tools that you basically, but I'm not saying that you don't spend money. No. Absolutely, on prices, on different like quests. If you want to get on-chain game, not game, sorry, engagement through the Web3 quest or whatever, this is where you spend money, but I'm just like saying that some people pay millions and they don't work. So don't spend this much money. Think of how to make an engagement without. There are so many Telegram group chats. Telegram is being used in Web3 a lot, and basically nobody really utilizes this in the way. We do have all those communities out there. Different events. All big giant events have their own groups. This is the other room where you communicate and engage with your audience. So if you're hosting a nice online something, whether it's Twitter Spaces, whether it's online event or debate or anything like that, right? Then you create, you tweet about this. Then you basically like draft almost the same message. I do the same message anyways. Draft the same message, create the banner, like add that banner, and invite that community through those events, chats. That's where the community is. They do communicate. And if you're in the engagement first stage, curiosity, then utilize those groups to promote your project, to create, to say like, hey, we are these guys, we are doing this, like here's our socials, we would like, etc., etc. Usually these things work, utilize that part too. If you need any help with outreach to those groups, like honestly, my DMs are open. I can help. I will help in any way I can. Yes, so that would be extremely brief about the marketing in general, because there are much more. But if you get this part, then you can understand a lot of things during the research. A lot of things will be like, oh wow, oh this is interesting, oh there is the room for this, when you do the market research. But before doing, even though you did the market research, because you need to come up with the business plan, right? So that will be your business model based on the market research. However, market research for marketing is slightly different, because you already have your product, but then you go and see what the competition is, how they do things, etc. So this is an extension of business plan. You need to have a good business plan too, because they need to know, marketers need to understand what is that the roadmap for this, and then you understand, okay, we want to target these people here, partnerships there, partnerships, etc. That is the plan. Of course it can change, absolutely it can change in 3 months, because you understand that, okay, well, we are doing something wrong, etc. If you have I remember somebody, we had an extremely low engagement so the project wanted to grow their what is it, Telegram, okay, Telegram group chat, Telegram community, and they just don't communicate there. And that could be because people like to use WhatsApp. So that's why it's important to also know your customer, know their behavior and things like that. And I will probably stop right here and give you a room to ask questions, and let's talk about things that you would like to. Maybe somebody has questions or etc. Like, here's your room and stage, and thank you so much. And sorry, I will send you all that information later on. I'm very sorry. I'm just going through a lot right now, and I'm leaving for ETHCC tomorrow. Yeah, so please let me know if you have any questions. And appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do have a question about like how to talk with the people,
Mhm.
because like yeah, for like some products or application, it is like relatively easier to actually change some functions and kind of add some functions that actually people
Yeah.
wants. But what we are doing is we are actually developing a game, so we kind of have to do like mass targeting rather than targeting a small amount of people. So like
Yeah.
we are having hard time like say it's too hard, like, so
Yeah.
it is really hard to just like keep our point by talking with people. Like there has to be like some sort of well, there should be like we have to have our own,
Yeah.
otherwise that like nowhere. Hard problem with talking with people is especially while we are trying to create a Web3 game. Web3 games aren't really a native to the gaming users. So
Yeah.
when we actually test the Web3 game, they always say it's too hard. But with the same application we ask to Web2 users, they say it is too easy. So like, I don't know like which way should we go, or like what kind of things that we have to like listen about the product market fit, because about like selling NFTs and token, Web3 people has much more money, so they are going to use it, but they aren't the real active user in the game itself. So eventually the game is going to collapse if there is no active users. So if we listen to the Web2 users, then there is going to be a less revenue from the Web3 field, but yeah, we are going to have the different revenue. So like in this kind of game, like I'm not sure like what kind of stance that we have to go. So is there could be any advice about like gaming that we have to target the mass targeting?
So the games are very interesting things. Have you already like built your product? Is there like on what stage the game is?
Actually, we have already launched our first game last year, and then we are actually developing our second game, which is planned to release later on Q3 of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do have one game that's out on the market.
In order for me to answer the question, to be honest, I really need to see what has been done and what problems you are exactly like facing, you know, and what did you do before. So if you want, we can honestly meet one-on-one and talk about more about your specific issue, because we at Metis, we do work with the games, and it's not easy at all to build a good game. It's not easy. So, and if you're already doing this game and this is very interesting, probably you're not getting the right message, or something is there that I want to read and see what you do, because I can't really say it right away, because I don't even know what the game is.
So what kind of like re-experiences that like a lot of Web3 community are like so bullish about their project, even if they don't believe in the project. So like they always just kind of like repeat themselves, oh, this project is so amazing, this is so good. And then if we just like keep listening to it, and like for the games, like it is hard to target the Web3 peoples by the mass advertising. So the actual
Yes.
users that's coming in from the advertising is the Web2 people, and by just listening to the Web3 users, we had very low retention. So like we are kind of like thinking of a big update to actually fix that kind of problem. But yeah, I mean, right now we are actually focusing on the second game. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of lessons learned from launching it. But yeah, it was really hard to find the product market fit. And while we are not definitely a Web2 nor Web3, in like we are kind of like 2.5. So yeah, we are kind of like confused at the moment.
Yeah, you see sometimes when you're a startup of the game, right? And you need users for this game. Once you have more users, then you can go bigger, you know, with the same game, where you can target a different market. So to choose the right chain would be helpful, because if you do that they have active users on their chain could boost yours, because it's good, like chains do like games, because you engage with their users, or you bring new ones, you know, and you bring the some utilities, etc., you know. So check where you want to build your game on, and then go and talk to those guys and say like, hey, I want to build this is a great game. But that's the thing, then when we believe in our product, we like, how do I say, like, for instance, you believe in your product, you need to believe in your product 100%, you know. But because if you don't, then how are you going to make others to believe that this is good, you know? And by believing in that, you don't really say, oh, this is the best. That's what I say. It's when you say this is the best, then you're basically being extremely biased, you know? You can say it's one of the prominent projects or something like that, because those buzzwords, they usually don't really work, because for some people, oh, maybe DeFi kingdoms are the best, so it's a matter of how you talk and what chains also you're basically using, and then if you use the right chain, they give you the grant, they give you the that level of that help that you may need. Try that part, see where that is. If you want to target the Web 2, then you need to assess. Okay, here's another part of the marketing. Have you tried focus groups? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, we did focus group testing with our game before we actually launched.
Okay, and how did that go?
Well, it was pretty okay, but I mean, it really depends on who are performing the test, because like all those like outsourcing focus group testing, like or advertisement or marketing corps, they really like kind of like tends to return you a good good result from the testing, not really a bad result. So yeah, I mean, when we did it, we kind of like got the biased information. So yeah, it wasn't really good. And also at the time when we actually performed the test was only an alpha build, so we had to do the focus group testing after we finished the launching build and then do the focus group testing and do the iteration. But we did that kind of like too early, so it wasn't really much room to actually improve while we were launching it. So yeah, it was about the timing issue.
Okay, I see. Then try to do the focus groups without the agency. Try to do it yourself with the help of that actual chain that you're building on, because they want an engagement and they say like, hey, can we use your community to do this? We can get them, for instance, for the focus group and choose absolutely different people, people that have not played any games, the people that are savvy on those games, the developers that build that game, and you definitely want to target people that are extremely critical on this, because this is people that will give you the honest feedback ever, and that will be crucial for you to okay, this part needs to be done, that, yeah, so try to do it again. Didn't work, the wrong timing, then do it again, but do it without the agency, because they want to like show you good results. No, you need to see the reality. If you don't see the reality, you will struggle, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. I guess we should try to more talk with the mainness who actually want to adopt more GameFi projects. Yep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. And also immutable, the layer 2, Australian layer 2. I think it's mutable. I don't remember, but I can send it to you. They are focused on games. This is where, if you know this, right? They're basically like they're layer 2 for games. Check them out. Yeah. Immutable. I think it's immutable,
Yeah.
So
I know Immutable. We actually talked like
Hmm?
year before or 2 years ago, and yeah, I mean it didn't really go well, so we didn't really
No.
go with Immutable. But yeah. Okay.
hmm
So yeah, maybe we are actually trying to like do conversation more with the layer 2 chains, or maybe just layer 1s who are actually more focused on the gaming at the moment. I guess that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. If you need any help with that, let me know. There are some chains that are popping up and they are very extremely engaging with that, I just don't want to basically like I'm here like, yeah, I work for Metis, but I'm here to help you, so there are another chains that are very interested and they're giving grants, they are helping others like small projects to be there on chain and be sustainable. Yeah,
Yep. Thank you.
of course. Anyone else?
Yep. Question. In terms of the product that we can use like the product-led growth with the marketing, how can use like this because my team is not have marketing guide right now. How do you think this? What the thing I can think about it? Use the product first, and marketing come later. And how for the Web3 project, when is the right time to use the token to incentive the ecosystem? Yep, that's my question.
Okay, so let me sum up the question. So you basically right now don't really have the marketing team, but you want to know what would be the best way to utilize and launch the token and engage with the community, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so token launch is the overall the largest campaign that you can potentially have. You can before this, you need to do the pre-launch thing. You need to establish your brand identity. So you see, you want to do it right? Don't rush into launching the token because you need to create the level, basically the period of anticipation where everybody would be like, oh my God, that is the project. They're launching the token soon. They are doing 1, 2, 3. I want that. I sign up, I engage, And when you launch the token, then you grow even more. But to be extremely honest with you, you do need to have a marketer for this. If you don't, and if you have a marketing plan written already, or at least a draft for this, I can review that and I can help if you want. This is why we're here doing all these things,
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. But crucial is to have marketing team. Trust me, it's these guys. They know what they're doing. Yeah, and for your guys as a startup owners, builders, etc., when you're coming with the team and with the co-founding team, one of the best advices that I was given is to have those co-founders with the different sets of skills so that you will not basically argue with each other on that level, but you will have a power of combination of your knowledge and skills and etc. So, yeah,
Okay, I see. Thank you.
of course. Anyone else?
Oh no, I just turned on to say bye bye when you guys say bye bye. Okay.
Of course, it's a
Yep.
pleasure, guys. And marketing is much more complex, and then within these 2 hours is difficult to like